Hello. Today I'm going to rank every Mario Party Superstars minigame. Keep in mind that it's my opinion. And if you have a different opinion, you can share it in the comments. Also, I'm not including item minigames because I think they are like minigames. Now let's start the ranking. And our worst minigame is... I'm sorry, but this is the worst minigame. It takes too long. It's boring. And it's unfair for the middle players. And the worst thing is, the controls suck. It's very hard to control these hands. On to the next minigame because I don't want to see this one. River Raiders. It's another bad coin minigame. It's slow and boring. And it doesn't help that it's unbalanced. The one player can get a lot of money, while the three are left with 2 coins each. Oh, look, another unbalanced 1v3 minigame. You ground pound to boost the speed. The problem is it doesn't matter, because it only helps if the one player trips. And even if the one player trips multiple times, they still can win because it's easy for them. Also, it's unfun for the 3 you're just sitting there. Are you surprised? Another unbalanced 1v3 game? The knockback is too much. And the one player have the best time of their life. There's a chance to win at least. Unlike you know who. I hate Sneak and Snore. The controls suck. It takes a lot of time to get in the barrel. And it's kind of boring. Please get it out of my face. Okay, I get button mashing minigames. Heck, some of them are super fun. But giving me a 2 buttons mashing minigame, that's a lot. Also, the bots are brutal in this minigame. Now we are done with the horrible minigames. Now let's move to the minigames that are actually playable. Slot Card Derby is one of those minigames that are like there, but no one talks about it. I mean, no one asked for it to be back, because it's kind of boring. You're just tilting your joystick. At least it's playable, unlike. This minigame is a luck-based minigame. Don't get me wrong, luck minigames can be fun and it's not Mario Party without them. But this one is kind of unfair. If you mess up one time, there is a high chance you will lose, because the other players can choose 1 place each and win. So you need to be lucky 3 times in a row to win. To be fair, I don't really care about the minigames that aren't available on the board. But this one is still okay. But I think there is a minigame that's very similar and far better. It's one of those minigames that are easily forgettable. It's okay, but sometimes it can be boring. And I like its concept too. It's another coin minigame that's not really great, because it has some issues. One, if the one player is good, the 3 players won't get a lot of money. But if the one player is not good, they will get most of the money. So the 3 players can't really do anything to get coins, they just depend on the fact that the one player needs to be bad. For me, this is the worst duel minigame. It has a cool concept, but it takes too long to finish. It's still a cool minigame, but playing it multiple times can be boring. It's a 1v3 minigame, but I have to say it's easy for the one. The 3 can win actually if they play good, but the enemies ruin the chances, so I had to put it near the bottom. Rockin' Raceaway is one of those racing minigames that are actually boring. And it takes too long to finish. And timing the carrots can be difficult, And if you miss a good game, you're not winning. And you're not doing anything fun either, you're just mashing two buttons. Tug-o-war is actually balanced, but it has a problem where it gets very tiring and it hurts your hand, so I had to put it down. Mario's Puzzle is a minigame I never won. It's so hard, yet it has a simple idea. To be fair, it depends on luck, and the bots do it easily like how. A well-balanced and good minigame, because both teams actually get coins unlike the previous ones. But it can get boring, especially if you're the one player. This is a good coin minigame, and it requires teaming, but as you guessed, it's kind of boring. Still a good one, and it's our first Vita minigame. Here we have to blow up Bowser. Not that kind of blow up, you weirdos. Anyways, this minigames is decent at best, but like no one talks about it. Because it's like there, you know. It's a pretty decent minigame, but I feel like avoiding Bowser can be really easy. And spotting where is Bowser isn't hard either. Still a decent minigame. In this minigame we count. Yes, we count. Before you say counting is boring. This minigame does some interesting things, like the blue shade in the background. The bombs decrease in numbers, and the toads have mushrooms to deceive you. Overall, it's a good minigame. A slightly better version of roll call. You also count here, but now you can't get a count lower, so you need to be sure about your count. And the Goombas run fast, so you need a good reaction time too. Manner of Escape is another luck-based minigame. You try to guess which door leads to the lower doors. It's good, but I feel like if you're in last, you don't have a lot of time like the other players, so you're most likely going to lose. It's another luck-based minigame, because the Goombas move randomly. But I think it's better than the other previous luck ones because you can kind of predict where the Goombas are going. Cheep Cheep Chase is okay. I like its idea and it's fun. But I feel tired after all the mashing because you mash too much. Still a good one. Now we will move on to the minigames that are replayable. Like you play them and you want to play them again. This minigame is a memorizing minigame. You have to remember which boxes contain coins and which noi. So it depends on your speed of memorizing thing. I like this minigame and I think it's one of the better coin minigames. It's another memorizing minigame. But like this one more, it's simpler, and it can be more fun and challenging. And I feel like it may be easier for many people. You may look at it and say it's boring. But trust me, it's not. You need to watch out the piranha plants and spikes, which creates really fun situations and fun moments. It's a Vita minigame that really require teaming. Because if you want to win, you have to move at the same time with your teammate. So it really depends on how much you and your teammate get along. It's another minigame that isn't available on the board. And I think this one is better than the previous one. I really like its concept, and it's actually very fun. Even if it's so long, it's still a pretty good one. I think this minigame is a pretty good one, and it has a very good design and concept. And I think it's very fun, but I had to lower it because it can be easy for the 3 players. Here we make Bowser's face the same as the middle one. It's a pretty good minigame, and it's fun. And it makes things pretty interesting. This minigame is interesting. You need to be the first to reach the end without falling. It may seem easy, but it's not. You will be so fast that you will have a high chance of falling, and that's what makes it good. It's similar to the previous one, but I like this one more, because every player does something different. And there's no falling and losing immediately. It's another dual minigame, and I like it so much. It requires you to speed and have a fast reaction. So you need to get the boosters but avoid the electricity. One of the better dual minigames. Another dual minigame that is very fun. You avoid rocks in this minigame, but because you are in space you move in a weird way. So you need to figure out how to move to win. It's another TV2 coin minigame. I like this one because it's not long or boring. And I like it because you can get only up to 20 coins, so it doesn't make unfair. This minigame is very simple. You play volleyball. That's it. It's still a pretty fun one to have and to play from time to time. In this minigame you have to move the shell in order to reveal the picture underneath. It's a good game because you need to figure out the fastest way. And you need to learn its ways of moving. It's another button-mashing minigame. But it's still so fun seeing which player mashes faster. It's a shame it's so short. It's another coins minigame. Hammer Bro throws coins and sometimes hammers, and you can punch your opponents and ground pound them. It's a good minigame, but don't fall, you will lose all your coins. Here you have to give Shy Guy his letters back. Pink letters might fall and give you additional points. And Shy Guy is faster than you, so you need to cut corners to catch up to him. Etch and Catch is a simple minigame. You have to draw around Toad with your teammate, but the way you move isn't like the normal way. So you have to move right in order to win. And Toad also moves in random ways, so you need to catch up to him. In Late Night Fright, you have to point your flashlight at the chomp as close as possible. It's a pretty good minigame since the chomp moves randomly for each player and there is a delay on the flashlights, so you need to time it right. Here you can open and close your parasol to collect coins. It's a pretty interesting minigame since you can run over your opponents and you can get money bags before them. Later Skater is a fun minigame, since you need to reach the goal first. And you can cut corners to reach first. But also bumming into other players can change the way you react, since bumming in front increases the speed, but bumming behind decreases speed. It's a 1v3 minigame, where the 3 must reach the top and the 1 must drop rocks on them to bring them down. It's one of the minigames that got an upguard since the 3 players don't get knocked further. And it's actually very balanced, and it's very fun. It's a 2v2 minigame where you must have the most Goombas as your color. I like this minigame a lot because it's fun and it creates tense between the two teams. And the last seconds matter the most, so pay attention. It's another duo minigame, and this one is one of the better and fun ones. Since the clocks move different ways and makes the game more interesting. But I had to bring it down since the player in the middle has a slight disadvantage. In this minigame you have to collect ringtones, but the controls are inverted. So you need to figure out how they work, then collect the ringtones. It's a pretty cool minigame. It's a 2v2 minigame where you pass the apples to your teammate. It's a good minigame because both of the players depend on each other, and they depend on both timing perfectly. And overall a pretty solid minigame. It's a 1v3 minigame where the 3 must point the lights at the 1 and the 1 must avoid them. It's actually very balanced because the 3 must cooperate and the 1 can avoid and bait them. And it's a fun minigame and one of the better 1v3. It's a 2v2 minigame where the team that scores 3 points win. And it's a very interesting minigame because the shell becomes faster each hits, so you need to rely on how fast you can block it from entering the goal. It's another luck-based minigame. And I think this one is better than the other ones because you have a better chance of surviving. Now we move to the minigames that you play and never get bored. Tackle Takedown is one of the most balanced 1v3 minigame. The one player must reach the end without getting hit. And it's actually one of the most fun minigames. A 2v2 minigame where you and your teammate have to break the rocks. It's a pretty cool minigame since it creates tense because the teams can be really close and a millisecond can win you a game. Here you have to pop up your enemy's balloons. This minigame is mayhem itself. And it causes chaos between everyone. And it's a super fun minigame. It's another minigame that is on the board. But it's still one of the better minigames. You have to throw the shell onto the enemy's Goombas. It's so fun and amazing. In this minigame you have to score the closest to win. It has a really good design and a cool idea. And it requires you to think and predict where the ball will land. It's a dual minigame where you climb on trees to reach the end. It's a pretty tense minigame because the results can be so close that a second can win you a duel. Overall, a pretty good duel minigame. It's a 2v2 minigame where one player places the cake and the other one places a strawberry. I really like this one since the speed increases each second. And it makes it a pretty solid minigame. It's another minigame that isn't available on the board. It's simple, you play hockey. But the stage is smaller, so it's very fun and enjoyable. Shy Guy says, "This is a pretty fun minigame." Shy Guy holds a flag and you have to hold the same flag color. And Shy Guy baits you, so you need to watch out. And each time Shy Guy goes faster. Now we have bombs away. And this one is really fun. You need to avoid falling into the water. The piece of land moves, so you need to move to avoid falling, and sometimes you might get hit, so you need to watch out. It's a 2v2 minigame where you reverse the direction in order to screw up your enemies. It's a really cool minigame because it's very intense. You need to be fast and think which one to leave and which one's not, and it creates chaos between the teams. Flash Forward has a really cool idea. You punch everyone out of the way to be in the photo. It's pretty fun and the last second matter the most, so be prepared. Snow World is a minigame where you need to be as fast as possible. And I think it's the most skilled minigame. And it's one of most interesting minigames. Storm Chasers is a pretty solid minigame. You follow the cloud to water your plant. And it's pretty cool because Monty Moles can screw you and the enemies fight about who's closest. It's a 1v3 minigame. And you might think it's unfair. But you're wrong. The one player can jump and cover most of the goal. And this minigame is super fun and enjoyable. And it makes really fun interactions between friends. A 2v2 minigame where you eat pizza. It's a button-mashing minigame, but it's really fun. And it's one of the better mashing minigames. Now we have a Choose Your Path minigame. And depending on your luck, you choose the short route or the long route. It's a pretty cool minigame, and I actually play it a lot. It's another 1v3 minigame where the 3 must squish the 1. I really like its idea, and I like that it's fun and balanced too. And it requires thinking from both teams. Now we have to avoid Bowser's spikes. It's a simple yet fun one. I really like this minigame for some reason, I don't know why. It's similar to the last one, but I like this one more. Because you can jump and the ground is slippery, so it adds more challenge to the minigame. Now we fight each other with a tank. I really like the idea here, and it's very enjoyable. The different ways you can move and hide is amazing. Skewer Scurry is a 1v3 minigame. And it's actually a fun, balanced one. This minigame is a mind minigame and the one player must outsmart and bait the other players. It's a 2v2 minigame where you avoid being hit. And each time the spike goes faster and faster. And you can move so you can adjust if you're about to get hit. Now we have Hot Rope Jump. It's kind of similar to the last one. The rope changes its speed constantly, so you need to have a fast reaction. Handcar Havoc is a 2v2 minigame. And it's one of the best ones. You mash, but you can't mash really fast because you need to tilt your car, and that makes the car fall. So you need to balance the two. Here you have 3 hearts, and you need to take everyone out. This minigame is fantastic because you need to time it right and sometimes use the cannon as a shield. It's a 1v3 minigame where the 3 must hit the 1 with a coconut. It's actually a balanced one because both teams require thinking and skill. And it's an amazing minigame. Now we have Crazy Cutters, a pretty fun minigame. It's simple. Draw around the boo or chomp or blooper and the most highest wins. A simple yet fun one. A 1v3 minigame where the 1 needs to pop up the 3 balloons. It's a simple idea but a fun and balanced one. And it requires some thinking. Now we have pushy penguins. A pretty fun and easy one. And it's a cool idea. And now we have the game that requires the most reaction and attention. And it's a very intense minigame. You need to be fast and have the most points. And it creates a very interesting moment. Now we have Look Away. A 1v3 minigame. I really like this minigame, and it never gets boring. And the fact that it's really fun and balanced and chaotic really benefits it. Honeycomb Havoc, a really interesting minigame. It's a mind minigame, and it's probably the most one. You think and strategize in this, and it creates the element of evil. I really like it, and I think it's awesome. And now we have Rapid River Racer. And this one is very underrated. Maybe because it's from Mario Party 10. Anyways, this minigame requires a fast reaction. Because you need to move fast and avoid the spikes that are on the way. Overall, an amazing minigame. And the best Vita minigame is, of course, Dungeons Duos. It's fun and it's amazing and awesome. And the face of teamwork. I really love it. And here we have Bounce and Trounce. A really cool and fun one. You knock everybody out and avoid the falling ground. The concept is amazing and the game is really awesome. Now we are in the top 10. These minigames are the best of the best. At number 10 we have Snowball Summit. It's a really good and amazing minigame. You make snowballs and throw it at the opponents. A really good design and concept, and the bigger the more knockback it has. I really love playing it. At number 9 we have What Goes Up. I really like this minigame. You have to go on paratroopers to reach the furthers. It creates tense and fun moments, and it requires you to be really fast. At number 8 we have Leaf Leap. It's very similar to What Goes Up, but I like this one more. Here your reaction matter the most because you need to be fast but not fall down. It's really awesome and amazing and enjoyable. At number 7 we have Coney Island. A really fun and amazing game. You get ice cream by standing under the shadow before everyone else. You need to watch out and be fast because someone else can snatch it first. At number 6 we have Mush Pit. A minigame that mayhem. You search for a mushroom and the player that gets big can attack the others. I really like its concept and it's very fun. Rocking everybody out while causing mayhem. At number 5 we have Mushroom Mix-Up. This minigame is amazing. You have to be on the same color as the flag, and you can ground pound to mess up your enemies. And each time it goes faster, so it adds more difficulty. A solid minigame and an amazing idea. At number 4 we have the final countdown. And this minigame is amazing. When the number becomes 0, the ground opens. So you need to avoid it. But you can fight with the enemies, so it adds more fun to the table. At number 3 we have Trace Race. You draw on a line and the highest wins. And if you mess up you can go back and draw again. The idea is good and the minigame is amazing. At number 2 we have Bumper Balls, a bumming minigame. You bum into other players to send them down. A fighting minigame with a little bit of planning is awesome. And there are different stages to making it better. As you may have guessed, Book Squirm is the best minigame. It's awesome, amazing, fun, and enjoyable. You have to be in a safe place before the book closes, and it increases the speed each time. So you need to be fast and pay attention. It is hands down the best one. Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe.